Hello, my name is Matthew. Welcome to Life's Beating Heart. Today, I'd like to talk with you about the feeling of rejection. Okay. How does it feel when we try to give our heart to someone, when we try to give our love to someone, and they reject it? Say no, no, not interested. Don't want none of that. What you're offering. How does that feel? Fuck, it fucking hurts. Fucking hurts, bro. Fucking hurts. Yeah. I mean, I think we all know that, right? I think everyone knows that. Mhm. The heart can be very vulnerable, right? Soft, yeah. When it's fully open, right? Um, when you're trying to give your love to someone and you hope that that would be reciprocated. Um, and because of the ideals of romanticism, so deeply ingrained, like in our culture and our belief systems, our spirituality, maybe our biology, so to some degree, who knows. But I'm just talking about romanticism as a cultural movement. Like it's there's so much longing for fulfillment of what's missing in oneself from the other. That there's a great amount of like pressure and expectation as well put upon our love offers, in relationships, right? um and then there's a sense of also like when we're coming from a place of like separation from God, from the divine, from existence, from the oneness consciousness, from the felt experience that we are all one and we are all God. And this is all. That's not the lived experience most people are having on their day to day life. They're having an experience of separation from love, from the source of all love, from the divine, right? And they have a longing deep within themselves to come back to that, but they're so like lost and confused in this the illusion of this material world, right? And it's kind of that's that deep longing within us for connection to the divine has been usurped, actually, by various power structures for centuries and millennia, right? But like in its recent form, that kind of mythology has been sort of like profiteered off of with, like, for example, like just Disney, you know stories in general, and the simplification in a way of like romanticism, um, and it's packaged in such a simplified way of like that you can um, seek your salvation in another, right? You can seek what that fill that like missing piece of yourself, um, in another, right? Um, when really that's an illusion, all along, that there is anything like missing like within you is an illusion. Like you are actually like a whole, like holistic entity, um, in your own right, as a single divine individual. Like you carry a divine spark within yourself. You carry the blueprint of all creation within yourself. And so you don't need necessarily to seek anything outside of yourself in these terms of these like particular like individuals. So then when it comes to like, why did you get rejected by this particular person? It's like, well, maybe there's a lesson in it for you or something, right? Or, with rejection, it's like, so like, okay, so I want to go back to bring it back down to earth a little bit. I was getting a little bit out there for a second, but when it comes to like rejection, mm, we often in our because of our childhood woundings, usually most people, um, there's a sort of a tendency, a childish tendency. We want to like take it, everything, like feedback we're getting personally, especially if it's touching on like a part of us, like that. It's still like a frozen childhood wound, like a childhood wound, like frozen in our system. That we're gonna have that childish sort of sense of you know how like a child psychologically is just not able to understand the complexity of like some things are just not about you personally. Like they sort of think like they sort of interpret everything as like their fault or their, you know, something, right? So like a lot of cases of you being getting experiencing rejection with a person, it's like it as painful and intense as that feeling can be. Really, like that and that feeling of also being left, like, alone, you know? That's actually an invitation, um, to go within, first of all, and to for healing, to find that, uh, part of yourself which is, out of alignment. Well, not that's not maybe the right word, but just that's crying out for healing in that moment, like, that there's something there, um, yeah. Hmm. Sorry, I'm losing the thread of that. I want to keep it. I don't want to go on too many tangents. I want to try and stick to the point of like. So there can be many different reasons for rejection, that have nothing to do with you, right? It can be like it's just not the right person for you, and like for example, like you know, like there surface superficial appearances and how people present themselves, and like also your own projections and hopes and dreams and fantasies like projected onto another person. Like you maybe just don't see the person clearly for who they truly are on their deeper like level, who their deeper self truly is, and what life would be with them would truly be like if you were to get your wish, right? So, uh, like if you're just really not seeing who another person is clearly, you're just like not understanding them, or they're not maybe mutually they don't see you clearly, potentially. But it's like, um, and they reject you. That could be God's protecting you. Like it's a cliche, but it's like rejection is God's protection. It is it, like, and I know that hurts to hear. Like if you're someone who's acutely experiencing that sort of like heartbreaking pain, like that sounds like so like hollow and cliche, almost like you don't want to like um hear or face that in that moment. But it is like it's cliche because it's true. Like it's just like fundamentally true. And that um that sometimes God will like intervene, or the divine, you know, whatever you want to call it, higher power will to protect you from making, because this higher wisdom, this higher intelligence can see the whole, you know, past, present, future, all the timelines, all the potentialities, and it knows what's best for you and it wants what's best for you. You don't actually know what's best for you. Like you don't really know the full implications, the chaos theory, butterfly effect of what your action would be if you got, you know, your wish in this moment, right? So sometimes getting disappointed, you know, and it's like, my goodness, you guys, it's like God is like a loving parent for us, and we are all these little spoiled brat children. Do you understand me? Like we think we know better, and we're like little fucking 5 year olds, fucking 3, 4 year olds in the candy aisle at Walmart, fucking throwing ourselves on the floor, literally kicking, screaming, temper tantrum, like I want the candy right now, mommy, give me the candy, I need the candy, please give me the candy. And God, you know, the loving parent is like, but that's not like it's your all about to be your bedtime. You have to get up. You know, we have to go have dinner still. Like you haven't had your dinner yet. It's gonna spike your blood sugar. Like there's a bunch of reasons why I can't give you this candy right now, my dear, loving, beloved child. Like, please just trust me that like that your temporal like passing desire, as intense as it is in this moment, as much as you think this object of your desire is the thing that's going to satiate you like forever and ever, like, you know, because we don't really know. You know, it's all like we're all like children of God here spiritually, like for real. Like, you have to understand. So it is like that, and sometimes the loving thing that God will do is to just, just say no and just not give you the candy, and sometimes like pick you up and drag your ass out of the fucking candy aisle, like if you can't like act right, you know what I mean? Like, so, um, yeah, and I guess that brings me to another point. So, at the same time, I don't want to fully absolve people's anybody's. Mm, personal responsibility here for their inward journey and their healing journey, and heal it, because the healing journey sometimes it involves taking like personal accountability, um, for your behavior patterns and such here, and making like healthier choices for yourself, and such. um, So sometimes you gotta also understand about rejection is sometimes, like, like I said at first, like there is like on one hand you got the fact that you have that inner child and all the wounding patterns and things that want to take things personally that are actually not personal at all. Um, because on that side of things you get the like self devaluing, like, oh, like I tried to give my love, and this person didn't accept it. Does that mean like I'm not worth anything? You get these like unworthiness complexes. Um, but on the other hand, it's like you can get, you have to watch out for the trap of like putting it all on everyone else, and avoiding doing the hard work, and realizing that some of the problems, and especially if it's a repeated problem, it keeps manifesting for you, like the same toxic pattern happens with the same, you attract the same type of situation, disappointing or hurtful situation, over and over and over again. Maybe there's something in you, maybe there's a lesson there in you, maybe there's something about like the way your belief system, or something that needs to be healed in your heart there. um, so that's the thing, it's there's a little bit of a paradoxical balance. It's like sometimes rejection, it's not about you, okay, at all. It's totally impersonal, and it's like, there's just divine factors at play, or like things beyond your comprehension. But at the same time, there's still something to like learn there about like what drew you to that person. Like, what is it, like, every time you get rejected, it's like it's a call to turn back within yourself and have a conversation with God about this, and have a conversation with your own heart about this, and like get real with yourself here, and be like kind and loving and compassionate with yourself, and like pray to God to like help you, with that, because like that's what's going to like help like support the healing. um, yeah, compassion, like compassion on one hand. So the fire and the water with the alchemy. So with this alchemy of the heart. So you have to have like compassion and mercy on one hand. The feminine side, you got to be like gentle, and you can't be like too just full on only harsh on yourself. Like that's just not fair. Like you deserve gentleness and comfort and nurturing and compassion sometimes, and you have to give that to yourself internally first and foremost. But then on the other hand, like you have to also, the fire, like the discipline, the drive, the kick in the ass, like you gotta, you know what I'm saying, like you gotta you can't just like have idiot compassion with yourself and just let yourself like slide and be complacent and stagnant and all of this. Sometimes you do have to like have boundaries for yourself, and like fight for yourself, stand up for yourself sometimes, like all those kind of things, right? Like understand like that you do deserve more, right? And you have to like be willing to act on that. Yeah. um So, but yeah, that's the thing. So about like back to the thread about like the no, not compassion, no, the rejection, and the so there's many, yeah, it can be either, there's two sides of it. It's a paradoxical coin, right? So you have the mm, yeah, that on one hand it can very much be like not very impersonal, not about you, but on the other hand it can be pointing you back to where like the work needs to be done for you specifically. It can be like a constructive criticism, let's say. It can come in that form as well. um, yeah. But ultimately here, remember, like, the whole point and, like, what we're looking for here in these relationships, like, so here's the thing. So, yeah, there's, like, a complex there's, like, layers to it because, like, we are fully, like, divine individual units within ourselves, but also we're these social beings that have this, like, puzzle piece structure, this complex, like, social, like, networking, like a dynamic sort of, um kaleidoscopic moving puzzle piece sort of thing that's our species as a whole as well, that depends on different people collaborating and plugging in with different people at different times in different places, to progress the evolution of the species as a whole, and therefore driving, like, the cutting edge of the universe or cutting edge of creation, all that, right? Oof. Holy shit, excuse me. um so how do I bring this back down to earth? So the with rejection, right. So this is what I wanted to say. The point is, it's all divine, okay, and it's all trying to bring you back to your own self, okay, back to your own heart. It's like nothing that's happening to you, none of the pain of life, none of the suffering and the misery and it's all of that. None of that's here to torture you. Okay. I know it can feel like that sometimes. Okay. God is not just like shoving the needle like in you to torture you though. Like it's a feedback loop system. It's a feedback loop system that you are putting the inputs into. The inputs you put into the system give the outputs that you get back. So if you don't like the outputs you're getting back, you have to start to, like, adjust the inputs. But, like, that's a bit complex because some of the inputs are coming out of you automatically. So you have to go within yourself and start to, like, tinkering around with, like, all, like readjusting all the balances of all the things and healing all the past stuff and all this. So there's, like, a whole process that you go on here, but it's all about, like, connecting, first and foremost with higher power, with the divine, with the source of love itself, and filling up your own cup of love here, right? Filling up your own cup of love. Oh crap! I'm picking up the wrong hand. Hold up. Gotta pick it up with my left hand. Apparently, see. And so you have to fill it up yourself, like, straight from the divine, right? So that you have it's coming from an unlimited, like, infinite source, right? Because if you fill up the cup of love, your own cup of love, from the divine, from the infinite source, directly, then it starts overflowing. It starts overflowing, and then you have an abundance of love to give, because that's what true love is. Okay, true love is just, like, abundantly giving, and it doesn't really expect anything in return. Um, Now, of course, like, someone will still have to have healthy boundaries, and be, like, loving for themselves as well. There's a balance there, right? They're not just gonna, like, martyr themselves and put themselves sacrifice themselves. But when they have extra to give, they give it away for free, without expectation, because that's just what love is and does naturally. And that's what makes the world a better place if we all start to do that more. So if you all sort of, like, go through this process with me of learning how to, like, tap into the divine, fill up your own cup of love, and then you aren't all running around, like, seeking to fill up your love cup from other people who themselves only have, like, a half empty love cup and it runs dry sometimes, and they're also trying to drain you and seek their fill their cup up from you. And then what happens when both of you are running on an empty love cup and you're both trying to fill up your cup from each other, and you're both these, like, limited, infinite, like, finite beings, and neither of you are connected to your source. And then it's just like that's when shit gets ugly, man. That's when shit gets ugly out of there in the streets. Y'all be wilding out there in the streets. But it don't gotta be like that, guys. It don't gotta be like that. You just gotta, like, learn, prioritize yourself, love yourself, learn what love is, connect with it within, meditate, pray, take care of yourself first, heal your heart, right? Anytime that you face rejection in the world, like, just take that to God then, and then, like, sit with the feeling, right? You sit with the pain and you let that, like, alchemize within you, because it's gonna, like, if there is something there to be healed, like, that will be, like, happen naturally, like, if you go in and just, like, let yourself heal it, you don't let it, you know? Here's the other problem with rejection: a lot of people are running around now, everyone's so goddamn afraid of rejection that they just, no one, no no one's, allowing themselves to be vulnerable ever, like, anywhere, and especially, in the dating world, in the romantic world, right? Like, no one, there's no, like, true vulnerability. Everyone's playing, like, all these mind games, like, just mind games on mind games, right? um like, I understand them, like, I have compassion for them. It's like, because, like, I get it, no one wants to get hurt. And you gotta also be, like, on some degree, like, cautious of, like, all the parasites out there, because there are a lot of people who are unhealed, who are just, like, basically functionally, like, energetic vampires, like, emotional vampires that just want to, like, drain the hell out of you, abuse you. There's a lot of people out there like that, that are unhealed and not necessarily willing or ready to do their own healing work. So you do have to, like, learn to discern and avoid those people, or have a healthy boundaries with those people, at least. Um, yeah. Hmm. Where is I going on this? I just completely lost the thread. Okay, guys. Um, I'm gonna wrap it. Wait. Oh yeah, the mind games and the dating scene and the, yeah, 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 yeah. So, yeah, yeah. So it's coming from this, like, hurt place. There's a lot of, like, inner wounding, right? Um, and then, because of that, yeah, it creates, like, a whole bunch of, like, twisted, like, defense mechanisms and protector parts and, like, all these things, and then it's happening on both sides of the genders. And then what ends up happening is, every time someone hurts another person, there's a reactionary effect that's creating, like, aversion. Like, the aversion, it's a kind of natural sort of, like, reaction when you get hurt. You're like, you, like, wince away, and you, like, sort of look, because it's like a evolutionary, like, mechanism, like, biological mechanism, almost, even, like, when you get hurt, you want to avoid the same stimulus that hurt you again, like, so you don't get hurt the same way again. Like, that's kind of intelligent in a way, on a level, right? um but what happens, actually, as spiritual beings, like, and as we build our, like, identity structure, as we build our ego structure, this is the unique thing we're having, that other biological entities are not, like, necessarily doing. Building this, like, little ego structure. I don't know if they do or not, but anyway, anyway, um, where it's built up on a bunch of, a whole kind of complex, on a psychological level, a whole like, piles of different, like, learned, patterns of, like, reactions of, like, aversion or craving and clinging to this. Like, I like this. I like this is, I want this. I like this. I identify with this. I want this. This is mine. This is me. And then, I don't like this. Keep this away. This is not. I don't like this. I don't want the aversions. Right. So, and then our identity. We build our identity, um, our individual identities, our egos, out of a whole, like, mess of pile of those things over time. Um, and what ends up happening is the aversions, turn into hatred over time. When you develop, like, a big pile of these aversions, they sort of ferment over time into hatred. Okay, and this is what you're seeing now, and it's just getting worse and worse over time. You see it all over social media now. Any kind of dating, relationship advice content, it's just full of all this, like, toxicity on both sides of the fence, guys. Like, I'm an equal opportunity, like, call y'all bitches out, because, like, it's, toxic as hell out there, man. Like, there's misogyny, y'all guys. There's so much misogyny. Fuck that, And then on the other side, there's, the women. Like, I love you, women, but you so much misandry, so much misandry. There's so much, like, hate, men hate, and it's like, You know, like, and I get it, but it's just like every time you see it, whether it's from the guy's side or the women's side, it's like the ladies' side, you know, it's like every time you see it, it just like hurts. It just hurts you. You're just like, ooh, baby, who hurt you? Like, you know, who? But you know that's where it's coming from, always with these people. Like, but it's like, you know, it's rooted so deep. Like, and the thing is, like, the heart healing process is a deeply personal process. Like, no one else can do it for you. Like, you have to be willing to like step up and do the work for yourself. And there is also a lot of people out there, to be honest, who just are unwilling to do it, unable, maybe, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but definitely unwilling. There's a lot of people that are just straight up like unwilling to heal their hearts, and they just want it. They're just fine being toxic, I guess, or something. I don't know. There's whatever. They can't like unwilling to take accountability and do the hard work, because it is painful. Also, that's the thing. But like, it's the real shit, and that's how you actually, if you want to ever like escape the cycle of suffering and toxicity and you know, victim blame, like blame cycle, like of like victim perpetrator cycle, and then, you know, everyone's finger pointing at each other. The women are pointing at the men, and the men are pointing at the women, and like, you did this to me, and then it's like, you did this to me, and it's like, you know, if you ever want to, yeah, get out of that cycle, it's like you have to just heal your heart and like heal your identity, the ego part. You know, you have to dissolve all those like hatreds and aversions as well. Like, that's another level to it, guys. That's another level. Yeah, that's all right. That's enough for now. I'm gonna wrap this up. This is already getting a bit long. So thank you for listening to my words from the heart for today. Um, If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Welcome to the community. If you are a returning viewer, thank you. I love you. Thanks for being here. Like the video if you felt like you got some benefit out of it. Comment down below if you have something to say. I always like to see your comments. And yeah, that's all for now. Until next time, take care.